it's a real possibility that the Detroit Lions will draft a tight end and T.J. Hockenson from Iowa. We already talked about this before, but it's becoming a possibility. And they spoke on it at the Combine again, but Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. And, brace yourself for the Lions drafting a tight end at number 8 is a very, very likely possibility. But let's talk about Emergency Sports Talk. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. I appreciate everybody for checking in. And pretty much just, it is what it is, man. I don't know why people are pretty much down in the gutter about the Lions taking the tight end. Like I said, at the end of the day, if they evaluate and the tight end is the best player available for the Lions, I ain't mad at them. You know what I'm saying? You can't let your past always determine your future. There's always exceptions to the rule, and I say that a lot on my other channel. But go check it out, Goodfellow Sports TV, by the way. But it's always exceptions to the rules. You know what I'm saying? And that is one of the exceptions, man. You can't just let Prediger and Ebron really say who is garbage and who not garbage going forward. If they take a tight end at number 8, hey, at the end of the day, do I like the draft history? No. Do I think it would be a bad move just because it's the Lions? Yes. Do I think it will be a pass rusher, some quarterback going to be a Hall of Famer? We passed up on like DeMarcus Ware, and we passed up on like Odell Beckham Jr. We passed up on other guys like that. Yeah, that's just the Lions' history. But they gotta be able to do their due diligence. If they rate this guy, the tight end, as one of the top needs on the board for the Lions, when that guy there, well, at the end of the day, what can we do? We can cry till we blue in the face. We can complain on 97 won a ticket. Mike Valenti can get screamed to get fired by the Lions all he want to. But the Lions is always historically done what they going to do. They don't think about what the fans want. They don't think about the betterment of the city or winning a Super Bowl. I just really think they just be trying to throw anything out there that's just good enough to stay above that sorry line so they can keep the fans spending tickets. But I haven't done no evaluation of Hockenson, but everything I've read and heard about him is he's a well-rounded tight end, can block and can catch. But all I'm saying is I haven't seen a lot of rookie tight ends come in and have an impact. And if it is factual that Bob Quinn is on the hot seat going into this year, then next year and whenever his contract is up, and it's pressure on him to put a winner on the field, which is really not from the forwards. If people stop coming and then they not selling parking tickets, they not selling seats, they ain't selling hot dogs and stuff, then it'll be pressure on him. But we got a lot of fans that's going to drink the training camp Kool-Aid, and I get caught in that all the time as well. So I don't act like I'm, exception or I'm immune to that disease. But like I said, if he do, he do. I'm saying he work out. But if he looking for immediate impact, it ain't going to be at tight end. But at number 8, like the Redskins one year, they took it was the Redskins one year. No, it was the Colts last year. They took on the offensive lineman from Notre Dame, and he changed their fortunes around up front. And they believe Hockenson can be an impact player in the blocking, an impact player passing, and they believe he could be a Gronkowski. Then, if he turned out to be good, he turned out to be good. But if he don't, he don't. You're going to hear it from the Lions. But there's no pressure on Bob Quinn to get it right or get it wrong. You know what I'm saying? He just need to go out there, evaluate. If it's the sweat guy, if it's Rashawn Gary, or if it's moving back, or if it's greedy. It ain't got to be a sexy pick. It ain't got to be a pick that everybody approve. It got to be a pick that work. But you got to be able to brace yourself for the Lions doing stuff like this. At the end of the day, it's about getting Stafford as much help as possible. And they got to get Stafford something. I don't know what they're going to do in free agency. Historically, the New England Patriots has been very frugal. And, when they sign guys like Talib, or they sign guys for Darrelle Revis on short deals, when they get Randy Moss or Corey Dillon, they get them for cheap, or they get them while they want to win a championship and rebuild their reputation. So I don't really look for the Lions to be active and make splashes in free agency, man. I just look for them just to spend enough money not to get in trouble with the NFL. But, yeah, once again, I think people going to flip out if the Detroit Lions pick up a tight end. People going to say, same old Lions is going to kill the morale of the fan base. You know what I'm saying? We know historically tight ends, it takes time for them to develop. Shannon Sharp, I'm not sure about Tony Gonzalez, but, Jimmy Graham took him a minute to develop. Antonio Gates, it took him a minute to develop. Even Evan Ingram, it took him a minute to develop. David Njoku, he came on a little bit last year. O.J. Howard had a solid year last year for a tight end from Alabama. I don't know if they rate T.J. Hockenson better than O.J. Howard, but O.J. Howard, he had some big games for Tampa Bay last year, but he was up and down. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't because of him. It was because they changing quarterbacks and stuff of that nature. But historically, we have never seen Stafford, have consistent success with we haven't seen him have consistent success with tight ends. May it be Pettigrew, we blame Pettigrew. May it be Ebron, we blame Ebron. Ebron goes up to blow up with Indianapolis coach Joe Fourier. They had a nice little red zone rapport. But really, he ain't do nothing with Luke Wilson last year. He ain't do nothing with Michael Roberts. He blamed him for the interceptions last year. So, historically, Matthew Stafford hasn't done well with tight ends. The Lions haven't schemed well with tight ends neither. And they haven't done a great job of evaluating tight ends and picking the right tight end for their fit. So, is it the tight end's fault that the Lions are not thriving? Or is it the scheme, or is it Matthew Stafford is what you got to ask yourself? And obviously, Darrell Bevell, he didn't use Jimmy Graham good in Seattle. And he lose Luke Wilson sparingly to go deep down the field. So I don't remember what tight end he had in Minnesota when Tavares Jackson, Gus Ferraro, or when Brett Favre was the quarterback. So he ain't really had a lot of success with tight ends just off the dome, and especially watching them in Seattle. Darrell Bevell, the new offensive coordinator. If you don't know, now you know. He ain't had a ton of success with tight ends in Seattle. They couldn't even figure out how to make Jimmy Graham great again. Even though Jimmy Graham still ain't being great, and it seems like he was just an ideal fit for what Drew Brees and Sean Payton did in New Orleans. So we got another offensive coordinator that ain't had much success with tight ends. So everything screams that this may not fit from a schematic standpoint. But, hey, you got to keep trying. Now, obviously, to me, I don't see tight end as a top-tier need for the Lions. I don't believe it's a top three or five need for the Lions. I would go pass rusher. I would say they need a middle linebacker. I would say the cornerback position is more of a need than that. I would say they got a right guard need they need to handle. They might have a right tackle need they need to handle. They might need a safety position they need to tackle. Defensive tackle depth. They might need an outside linebacker. They got a lot of needs before you get, at least 3 needs before you can even argue they need a tight end. But I think that's good enough for them to run up there and get a tight end at number 8. And, like they did with Frank Ragnow. You know what I'm saying? They took a center and played him at guard when it was when they could have moved back and got him according to the draft board. But so be it. I mean, at the end of the day, they wanted to take Rashad Penny over Kerryon Johnson. And Rashad Penny ain't do absolutely jack nothing with Seattle. And they wanted to move up into the first round to get Rashad Penny. Imagine how that would have worked out. Rashad Penny would have been a total bust with the Detroit Lions. We still would have been looking for a running back 1 year later after we were supposed to get Kareem Hunt. We're supposed to get somebody else the year before that. After all them running backs, Joe Mixon went on, Kareem Hunt went on to have an amazing rookie year. It was a ton of running backs that year to have an amazing rookie year. And imagine they would have got Rashad Penny. He ain't do nothing. And then this year you would have had Phillip Lindsay that went on, that be one of the best rookie running backs and went undrafted. You would have had Sony Michel that did good. You would have had Nick Chubbs that did good this year. And at the end of the day, they would have ended up with Rashad Penny. That was one of the worst rookie running backs. They didn't even want Kerryon Johnson. So at the end of the day, Bob Quinn, he ain't the best drafter. He better than Martin Mayhew. He ain't proven to be better than Brian Sanders. Pun intended for those who get that. But, he okay drafted, but he had his ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, if he take a tight end, he got some kahunas. If this don't work, Lions going to get mad. Honolulu Blue going to turn to Honolulu Black Kool-Aid, but Lions fans will forgive. Pour that Kool-Aid out by, next year draft, and they'll be all on the bandwagon again. But, hey, it is what it is, man. I just, I want to know how y'all feel about this. I'm going to keep doing videos on this tight end situation and see see where it panned out. If they take one at 8 or do they move back and take one? Where do y'all feel comfortable with the tight end position? I'm reading the Free Press and other people saying that, no, we don't want a tight end. It is what it is. Like I said before, you can't let your history always, mojo future or tell your future where it's going. Hockenson is not Pettigrew. He's not Ebron, but I worry about the organization fit for him. Personally, and the schematic fit for him is where my worries is. But Mercy Sports Talk, don't forget me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can reach out to the email, all those links in the description. You got business questions, crowd response, video requests. If you want to make a donation to the channel, that link's always there. Continue to share the videos. One time for the one time, Mercy Sports Talk.